not, I guess, opposed to bringing that into the discussion, but that's not why we left Adelanto, California, and come here.
Fair enough.
And it's an important decision that made by God. It's not a big thing to do. People that lead the show made decisions, and whether I agree with those decisions or not, it's not my place to go back on it. I try not to do things like that.
Second
Guess other people, and I trust that there's reasons behind their decision. So, yeah. With that also said, I did see people complaining about they were trying to get some of you shut down because of raising money for yourselves through your platforms or whatever. I said last night on the stage, but in case anybody missed it or whatever, I'm okay with you doing so. In fact, continue to do so. Don't worry about it. If anybody does give you any gripe for any reason, this is to you guys. I know that you're already but if anybody gives you any gripe, you can send them to me. It is 100% okay. Just don't tell your viewers that you're donating to the People Convoy unless you really are. Because then at that point, we'll have an issue. But as far as raising funds that you need for yourself, do what you got to do. Some of you have been with us from day one, right? Two of y'all, right? Yeah. Well, you went away, then came back. That's a fraud. We did it. We got him. He is not. He is not. He's a winner. But yeah, seriously, keep doing your thing. Keep raising whatever you need to get yourself hotel rooms and get rest and take care of your equipment and keep doing what you do. Honestly, I have a great deal of respect for all of you for what you're doing. I didn't know anything about this stuff prior to this, and I seriously have a great deal of respect for what you guys do. And I don't know, maybe one day I'll be able to grab a tripod or something. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, seriously, thank you guys. And now I'll open it up for all of you. Any questions or anything you want to talk about? Let's talk. Here's your opportunity.
Yeah, I've got something. So Chris Martin called me yesterday. I don't know if it's because I sent him an email or if Marcus or Mike called them, but I talked to some of you guys. I've been calling around to lawyers. See, ADF, Alliance Defending Freedom, they're the ones that took the executive order 14042 to the Supreme Court. So they've got teeth in the game with fighting these mandates. And I'm also...
You want me to hold this open for you?
Sure.
So I could read your notes about me?
Not yet. I want to know.
Brian Brazzi is a fraud.
That's
I'm pick it out. I have an email for Chris Martin to proofread, make sure it aligns with us, and maybe at some point we could all get together and just how Fry TV raids and deep fries channels. Everybody know? Okay, I want to get all of us here together and deep fry these law firms. Okay, just email. But yeah, so Alliance Defending Freedom and Pacific Justice Institute are the two ones I want to hammer on. There's a couple more I'm looking at, but I'm trying to go through the right chain of command before we actually get that done. So just stay tuned. But that's something I'm working on.
Was that laptop worth the money? I heard this touch bar sucks.
It's actually kind of cool
if
you get used to it. Yeah. But
I bought the one without the touch bar because I was like, I don't need a touch bar. Why am I going to pay the extra money was literally for the touch bar. That was it. My computer's the exact same thing.
If you do video editing, it comes in handy. But other than that,
I can't even turn on a camera, let alone do video editing.
Okay, so that's all I got. Stay tuned for that.
Brian, how you doing?
I have a GoPro. Yeah. Actually, I have a GoPro. I have a couple.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
Is Ted Cruz and them, are they contacting you back continuously after you spoke with them and after they came out here? Or
no. Honestly, no, they're not. But it's not at fault of theirs. like they're not at fault alone. We're probably just as guilty. We could probably be hammering them a little more. What happened basically through that process was we kind of learned that, look, the Senate passed it. So now we have to get that bill on the House floor. So the Senate passed it. Yeah, it was only by one vote, which doesn't do well for us if it actually gets passed on the House and then goes to the president's desk. The president already said he'll veto it. For those of you watching that don't know what I'm talking about, it's the end of the state of emergency, which then can help us get rid of these vaccine mandates, but on the federal level. So what basically the outcome of the meeting with the senators was that, hey, this is the process. This is what happened. Here's who voted no. Here's who didn't bother to vote at all. And then, of course, the publicity that he brought with it was obviously a big help in getting us out there, because he does, whether you like the guy or not, he does carry some weight when he speaks, and so there's really no, I wouldn't say no point in continuing the contact with his office. I think there's a lot that we could work together on other things for sure. But we're at a moment where we really need to get Democrats from the House. That's like where the focus really needs to be at this point. And then if we have a chance of getting that bill onto the floor, then we go back and start talking to the senators again to rally them to try and get 2/3 the vote, because if the president already said he's going to veto it, right? So we can't lobby him to do anything about it. He's going to veto it because he's a schmuck. And then, it'll go to the Senate. And when it gets to the Senate, then we got to try to get 2/3 of the Senate to vote to get rid of it. So at this point in time, I wouldn't say there's no point in continued talks, but they just wouldn't be productive unless we're going to start going after something more or something else.
Are any of them helping you move forward with the Democrats? Are they talking to the Democrats to help push that?
The senators that we've spoken with have definitely got the word out that we want to speak to them. The problem is the Republican House members are not doing that.
Right.
The Republican House, what I'm finding, and I'm not going to blast out any names, but what I'm finding in the House is that the Republicans feel deflated and defeated. And instead of trying to break the mold and reach across the aisle and try to get their counterparts to come to the table, or even try to schedule bipartisan meetings of some sort, even if it's just a conference room and let's get 4 or 5 of us all sitting together, they won't even do that. Basically, all of them have there was one that I think was enthusiastic and wanting to really try to do something, but the others basically sat there and said, well, nothing we can do till midterms. We got to win the majority of the House back. And I'll just tell you right now, that's the problem with this country. The fact that they can't work together to figure things out or come together and listen to the people. A lot of these Democrats have the same issue with their constituents. They feel the same way we do. They've had enough and they're ready to get back to work. So they're clearly not representing their constituents. And this is why I have an issue with both the Republican and the Democrat Party. They're both evil. And they both need voted out, every one of them. And I know that there's good people, and I've been attacked on this, that I've said about term limits and things like that. And they say, well, what happens when you get a good person in? What happens when we have somebody that's doing really good things, and now all of a sudden you're going to send them out? Well, that's the way it should work, because in my outside looking in view of doing this, and FYI, I've done this for about 5 years of meetings on Capitol Hill, and it's always the same thing. The longer they're there, the more they become disconnected from their constituents.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
And it's every single one of them. It's every single one of them. Yes. And it's my personal belief that, and I think it's what was intended. I could be wrong, but it's my personal belief for sure is that it's a civic duty to go serve your country in that manner, to go and represent your constituents, but it was never meant to be a career, at least not in one level. It was meant to go serve and then go back and work your farms, or go back and work your factory, go home and work your 9 to 5 or whatever you want to call it, your 12 to 12, whatever job. Go back to we'll call it civilian life, and get out of public service and go back to your civilian life, and your career is at home, not in Washington D.C. as a politician. Now, I don't have a problem with any of them coming up through the ranks, maybe state legislation or community, and working their way up through, and then maybe one day running for president. I don't have a problem if somebody makes a career out of that, experiencing all the different levels of government, especially if there's somebody that's good. But all those levels should have those term limits for sure. And that's my belief. And there's a lot of reasons why they shouldn't have them. There's a lot of, that argument's pretty big, but that's not representation of the people's Congo.
I agree.
That's Brian Brazzi that feels that way.
I agree 100%.
I have a question for you. I'm from Canada. I'm Mark. Okay. I'm a truck driver, as you. And I have a question for you. If the government's supposed to work for us, okay, why they don't show up over here?
So there's a couple of reasons for that. One, we actively work at getting them down here. That's usually our first. That's how we set up our meetings first. Is we try to get them to come down here. A lot of it is because of how far away from DC we are. They got votes, they got other things going on, but then there's also security concerns from different offices. Some of them take the security more serious than others, and they have different levels. Ted Cruz came out, and that's a win. He came out here. Do we want more coming out here? Absolutely.
Jim Jordan out here.
Jim Jordan actually talked about coming out here as well.
Well,
It's something that there's other things at play when it comes to getting them down here. Do we want them down here? Absolutely. Do we try to get them down here? Absolutely. But we're also not going to turn away a meeting with a Democrat because he won't come down here. We need House Democrats.
They supposed to be here. They supposed to come over here. You're not supposed to go around circles and circles. It's getting to the straight point. Transparency, right?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
all that this is all about. So, true is true. You're supposed to wait here for them to come, not coming, around the.
If we don't put pressure on the Beltway, they'll never know we're here.
Use resources.
We have to. Well, you guys, I'm from Canada actually, but you guys, you're supposed to wait for them to come over here. It's a pressure. I mean, it costs money. First of all, it costs the money for the truckers, and everybody here, everybody who is here. It costs the money, it costs the time, and it doesn't get results. I know what you mean. I know what you mean by that. That you're supposed to bring the people, actually more people here, right? That's one thing. The other thing is, this is the waste of money and time right now for the people around here, because we can move on. When something is happening, talking is talking, right? But the time is the time is about to change. The I don't know how to say it. It's about to change the entire situation right now, because it costs money and it costs time for the people who are all over here. They work for us, yeah. So bring them.
You're not wrong in what you're saying. You're not wrong in what you're saying. But you have. They will never come here without us putting pressure on them. Unfortunately, that's the situation that we're in. You are absolutely right. They should come to us. 100%, I agree with you. 100%, I agree that going around the Beltway is wasting time and money.
What happened?
I don't agree. Actually, let me rephrase. I don't agree it's wasting money, because are we burning through money doing it? Absolutely. But I don't think it's a waste, because we have to do that in order to let the world know that we're here. We have to continue to put DC Metropolitan on high alert, blocking exits. We have to continue doing those things in order to get the attention, to let DC know we're still here and we ain't going nowhere. We don't have a choice. This is what we have to do. Now, I understand that's frustrating. It's extremely frustrating. But welcome to America, man. That's what we're going through. That's what it is. And I'll say this. I love Canada. I love everything they did. but their politicians didn't step foot out of the Capitol building, and they were sitting on their front door. At least we got some meetings going on, and I'll tell you that right now, that's a win. And we're doing good things, and we're getting those things because we're out on the Beltway doing what we're doing. That's why we're getting the meetings that we're getting. That's the facts.
Yeah,
We can't
you're right.
occupy DC.
You're
giving
right.
them
But
as little
what's happening
ammo
in
as they-
Canada, actually, in Ottawa, I went there. What happened right now with these people? You know, they block. Well, the government said that they blocking. You know, the capital, right?
Yeah.
Over there.
And that's the ammunition, right? We're not trying to
This
do
is the people have lost like trucks. They have lost their homes, jobs.
People are right here too, losing their trucks, losing their
Exactly.
homes, losing
For
their
the last
families,
2
More
years.
time, more
losing their
time,
jobs.
more time. Brian, just understand. More time.
It's all their
It's gonna
free will to
take-
be here.
It's gonna you guys are gonna lose the time. You know, you have to invent something.
That's
So
why
I
right
just-
now we're trying to rally at the state levels and then get everybody at the state capitals across the country at the same time that we're doing what we're doing. It's very important that we put the pressure onto the state levels. The fight right now, honestly, is at the state level, but we have to stay here and keep putting pressure here at the same time.
The positive
That's what we're doing. That is the change. That is the next step.
Don't they say
It's
the
getting the
wheels of
states.
justice move slowly?
we have to show our
That's
endurance.
the time.
and our-
Yes.
you know,
That's
You wanna
we're
say
willing to
something?
stick it out.
Yes.
you know?
I was just gonna say that he talked about not getting resolved. I would just disagree. In Shake Shack, when I got attacked by an Antifa, all the employees knew what the convoy was about. When I said that they're fighting for you guys, you say, yeah, they're fighting for us. They all know what's going on. People in DC know what's going on. They don't look like it, but they do know what's going on. So we are getting results because they show up in DC.
And the reason why DC Metro keeps shutting down the exits, the exact words were, "We're afraid of Ottawa."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's their exact words.
Oh, yeah.
We're afraid of Ottawa.
We got them on the run.
And we can't just occupy DC like Ottawa did.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
not
it's a little
doing that
different here.
because we're doing it a little slower.
And if
We're
we
trying to do it diplomatically first.
and if we do start parking it, that's that ammunition that the media can have. Like,
Oh, they're impeding.
It might have to get to that point eventually, but right now,
Maybe.
again, diplomatic first.
Yeah.
right.
So you
process.
mentioned that congressmen do not want to talk until the midterm. Are there any plans to get them to talk before the midterm, since the midterm's still so far out away?
Pressure at the state level. Start pressure in the states as much as we can. Even their offices in the state, in their states, in their districts. Go to their offices and you know, I'm hoping that we can get some kind of rally cry out that basically gets people to flood the offices with phones and emails and everything else in their state office as well as here in DC. And then, of course, just literally do the same thing we're doing here, but do it on the capital of their state. People need to go there and not go away. And I hope, my hope is that by doing so, the state themselves will be saying, you need to talk to these people now, please. We need your help. And then that way, hopefully it would provoke them to actually break the mold and reach across the aisle. It's not just the Republicans, it's the Democrats too. The Democrats aren't doing crap. They're not working across the aisle at all. They're happy they have the power and they're doing everything they can to hold on to it. And the Republicans are just saying, well, be careful who you vote for. This is what happens when you put them in power. And that's how they're acting and that's how they're treating it. And honestly, it's just a disgusting display of American politics.
At the moment, do we know how many states are getting together at the moment to go up to their capital?
Well, they're just now starting to put them together. There's a couple dates going on. There was talk about how we should all do it on the same date. And there was talks about everybody's doing their own thing. You know, personally, as long as they're going there to occupy it in a way that they don't go away until they get what they're heard, it doesn't matter what date, because eventually, I mean, hopefully not, but eventually, more than likely, we'll all be doing it at the same exact time anyways. As far as what states or dates, they're all that information is just now starting to come in. So I know Ohio has 2 different dates planned with people. The first one is more of just a one-day rally. The other one is like a Hagerstown style, what we're doing. And then I heard it yesterday before I left Ohio with the people I met in Ohio before convoying out here.
Hey, where are you at from Ohio?
Northwest Ohio.
Brian.
Okay, I don't know where that's at.
Brian, Ohio. This is an hour west.
Okay, you're further west than me.
But what's the date on the rally there?
I believe the first one's like April 1st or something, and then the second one I don't remember offhand. But yeah. So the states, I know that there's if you guys remember that Kip guy from the other convoy that came into us, he's currently rallying across the South with different states, getting state leaders put in place. And I think the Northwest he's getting involved in too, getting some people together. There's a guy named Chuck Biddles, call him Chucky. He's in California. I know he's trying to get California, geared up. He needs some help in California though. So anybody out in California, get a hold of Chuck Biddles, Biddles, Chuck Biddles. He's trying to get California together. He's having a heck of a time right now, which I guess isn't much of a surprise with California, but he's trying actively to get that going. So it's what I would like to do, what I saw in my head at least, was to put together like a how-to packet, or in the military we call it SOPs, standard operating procedures. I'd like to put something like that together that basically says, here's the date, here's the permit filing process, here's contacts for your local law enforcement, because we want to make sure it's peaceful. We want to make sure we're law-abiding and peaceful about it, but we do need to make a stand. The same thing here diplomatically needs to be done diplomatically there. They'll use January 6th in Ottawa against us every step of the way, no matter where we're at in the country. So they'll keep using that against us over and over and over again.
Two things really quick. With what you're saying there, is there a way we could get a contact or something? Because I get a lot of emails that people are organizing and they want to get that message out to everybody, so it could be announced either in the evening or the morning, what dates in town, so that way they are organizing and gives them a little help. If we could do something like that, I think that would be really good for the people in the States.
Yeah.
So,
well, not even a contact point, just here, read this off for all the live streamers. I mean, we don't need to be involved in their organizing, but just something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I have to think on that one. I think that would be okay. I got to kind of look, I got to be careful on, I don't want to tell people, and don't take this the wrong way, and I'm not saying this is going to happen or is happening, so please, people in the world, don't take it this way. But even with the planning of the American convoys, there was scammers out there. There were people that were taking advantage of others and stealing money. There was money stolen from one of the convoys. They're talking $13,000 went missing from something. Luckily it had nothing to do with us, but that convoy, disbanded when I got a call yesterday that they got to Indiana and all of a sudden we're told, go home. And they disbanded everybody in Indiana, and never even came, but then they took off with the money.
Wow. Now,
I don't know what's true, what's not out of all of that. This is hearsay. I don't have any proof of nothing. But my problem with going out and saying, so-and-so is organizing Pennsylvania, get with so-and-so. And then I just stood there and I just told everybody in Pennsylvania or surrounding states that want to get involved in Pennsylvania to go support this person in their planning. And then they go and scam everybody or take advantage of people or they just don't have it in them to actually follow through with it. They become overwhelmed and then they let it implode. Then we lose Pennsylvania from doing it because we didn't give the chance to someone else who's also trying to do Harrisburg. And then they got black, because it happened to us, man. We had people in different states trying to organize states, and they were good people, but someone else came in and said, oh no, I'm the one doing this. I'm doing this. And they blasted that person and made that person feel like they were a fraud, like told people that person was a fraud, and they weren't. And then we lost, 100 trucks that person had with them, or 100 cars or campers, because of doing that, because of saying this is the person organizing. That's why I stood on stage and I said, listen, there's going to be multiple people in your state wanting to plan and put something together. That's okay. Follow the person that you believe the most in. Do your research like you should be on your politicians. Make sure this person's legit. Hold them accountable for the things that they say and do. but then also as organizers of any states, work with the other organizers of the states and come to a consensus. If neither of you want to do the dates that, if you two are arguing on dates, then pick a date in between. Find a neutral date in between. You're just going to have to work together. And I don't want to, I get what you're saying, and I get trying to get the word out, but I wouldn't feel right standing there and saying, so-and-so, I did it for California for Chuck Biddles because I go back 5 years with Chucky. You know what I mean? I go back 5-6 years with Chucky. I know his heart. I know that man's heart. That's why I said it. That doesn't make him the guy in California by any means, but it makes one of the guys that I trust in California. The thing is you can't, how crappy I would feel if I found out that somebody that I said this is a legit person, follow this person's organizing this state, and then they either A, ran off with a ton of money because they did a bunch of fundraising for whatever reason, or B, they didn't have good intentions from the very beginning, and the whole idea was because they were against us. Haha, watch what I do to these people. Or 3, they are somebody that maybe is a bit extreme on one side of the aisle or the other, and they lead people into a slaughter because they go nuts and do something crazy. You know what I mean?
Custer's last stand.
Right. I can't, I can't do that. I want to be able to say, here's this person, here's this person, here's this person. But I don't want that on my conscience if that person's bad. And I'm not saying,
And to kind of lead off of that, has the convoy, is it like possibly on the table at some point where we see like these governors that are starting to fire cops again and nurses that the convoy picks up and leaves and say, hey, we're going to Chicago. The mayor over Chicago just let go of 140 officers. We want those officers back. Is that something that the convoy would look into in the future?
I think all options are on the table. I mean, to say no is wrong, in my opinion. I think all options are on the table. I mean, we're here to end the mandates and start and try and demand some accountability. But it doesn't mean that if they're doing, if Mayo Clinic in Rochester lets go of like 1,000 nurses because they won't get vaccinated, it doesn't mean we wouldn't go up there and make a stand. I would encourage the state to do so first. But if they're not, maybe another convoy across the country to some of these harder hit places might be the way to go. All options are on the table.
Brian, I would like to
Go ahead.
I would like to thank you for your speech. Anyways, everybody here is very, very concerned about what's going on. Few words from you for the people around the world, not only U.S. but Canada, New Zealand, Australia, you name it.
Yeah. So I'm in contact with with one particular individual in Australia, and he's also kind of my point of contact for New Zealand right now. And then he also shared with me about Amsterdam standing up. To people around the world that have had enough of this, stand up. Now's the time to stand up. The whole world's watching, and everybody has had enough, and you're not alone out there. So if you are in any country and you've had enough of this, stand up now. Stand up, get a hold of us. We'll help get the word out that you're doing it. And send the videos, send the links, send whatever you can, and we'll try to get coverage for that too, and help in any way that we can. To Canada, thank you so much for everything you guys did. You spearheaded this whole thing. You got us to wake up, and we love you and have nothing but respect for you. Australia, New Zealand, you got a hard fight ahead of you. They're doing some really messed up things there. I've heard a lot of the stories already. You got it, I'm pretty sure, worse than Canada or the United States, that's for sure. And so your country, probably more than any others right now, needs to stand up. Don't let them intimidate you. That's what they're trying to do to you right now. Don't let them intimidate you. Stand strong. I doubt they'll let me fly to your country, but I would come and help if I could. So God bless everybody around the world that's ready to stand up. And do what you got to do, and we got you. We got your back.
Has the convoy applied for any permits to protest in DC, like lawfully?
So I did apply for one, I guess about 2 weeks ago now, and that became media that it was denied. It's not true. What actually happened with the permit process, I turned in the permits, which I do every year for another event, but so I know the routine. I turned in the permit, and it wanted numbers. So I just gave I think I said like 100 participants to 100,000. Like I just wrote this massive thing, right? And well, it scared the crap out of them because they were like thinking 100,000 vehicles, like they were like freaking out. And so we ended up on a conference call with a couple different agencies to discuss the permit. And then through that process, it was determined that we would bring in a select amount of the People's Convoy in, and we were going to park them on the National Mall. And it was more or less a photo op, if we're going to be real about it. But we were going to be able to stay there. I think I asked for 2 weeks on the National Mall. And through our phone conference, they gave us a partial denial. What that was because I had to put everything that we agreed upon over the phone, I had to put in writing. So the permit was approved. I just had to put in writing the new things that we had talked about, and then it would get the official approval. So we weren't denied permits. It was a partial until I put things in writing. That night, I sat there and I thought it over, and I did not like that I was going to have to pick and choose who was going to be able to go down there and park on the National Mall. I didn't like it. I didn't agree with it. I said it from the very beginning of this whole thing. Always speak the truth and from the heart, and it felt wrong of me to pick who gets to go and who doesn't. So then I rescinded the application. Now, something that the media does on a regular basis, it's public information, they pull permit requests just to see if there's a story there. So I believe it was the Washington Post pulled I'm not sure if it was Washington Post, I think it was. They pulled that information and saw that the People's Convoy had applied, and there was a partial denial. Well, they ran with that. but that's the truth of the permits. Since then, I have not filed for permit. Doesn't mean we won't, but there is a lot of concern about Ottawa. And then, of course, I have concern about January 6th type of action. And so DC's worried about Ottawa, and I'm worried about January 6th. So right now, we're going to take it. Honestly, it's day by day. It's day by day. I wake up tomorrow and be like, let's go down to DC and let's get these permits.
Has the convoy been in contact with any civil rights lawyers about DC police blocking the roads?
There are conversations taking place that I'm not going to go into details on at this time, but there are conversations taking place.
I have so it's real obvious that when we first came in here a couple of weeks ago, there was a certain amount of vehicles and people, and the next week it was a little bit less, and then this week a little bit less, because people have, especially the drivers, have to go back to work, make a little money, and they return. Some of them, I talked to a guy 2 days ago, and he was like, there's guys out in truck stoppers who's itching to come up here, but they don't understand the Emergency Powers Act. They think it's about masks, and they're like, we don't have to wear masks anymore, so what's the point? He says, if you added something simple like fuel prices to the discussions here, you would have a swarm of more trucks coming in and helping out. Would that be a good idea, or you don't want to dilute your message with fuel prices? Or, it's an option.
And what happens? I'll ask you this: what happens when the fuel prices go down in a week or two?
In a week or two? In a week or two.
I mean, seriously, what happens when fuel prices?
Right.
Because we can't sustain at this fuel rate, so it's inevitable that it's going to go down because we can't sustain. The administration's hands are tied. They're gonna have to open up pipeline. They're gonna have to. They're not gonna have a choice. If they try to run it like this, look, we're all done anyways. Yeah. If they try to keep this fuel price like this, we're all done anyways, because trucks are going to shut down all across the country. With or without this movement, trucks are going to shut down. Yeah. Even the ATA, which I really want to give them the one finger salute to the ATA, but I won't. But even the ATA is already petitioning the administration saying, like, hey, hello,
Okay.
we need
So
some help here.
You think other groups have talked about the fuel and put more pressure on them, and you don't have to do that then? Or the convoy?
I think that naturally is having its own pressure
Okay.
on it. I'm not, I guess, opposed to bringing that into the discussion, but that's not why we left Adelanto, California, and come
Okay.
here.
Fair enough.
And
People
it's,
were asking, so
I think it's important. I honestly, if I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be trying to rally right now in DC over the fuel prices and maybe get a shutdown of some sort going. I mean, at the end of the day, all of this can be resolved with every truck in the country turning their keys to the left for 3 days.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
3 days.
Sure.
Total shutdown.
3 days.
3 days.
You know, and you bring the nation to a crippling halt. The problem is, I don't ever want to do that to this country. I don't know if it's a problem or not. I don't ever want to do that to the American people. I don't ever want to do that to our economy. I don't ever want to do that. I never want to have to do that ever. And I you know, it ain't like the trucker strikes to the 70s. You know, now we have 3.5, 4 million truck drivers. I mean, now you shut down, like, I mean, it's even the population has doubled since the 70s, I think. I mean, we every single thing, all the stores, all the manufacturing plants are literally like day by day supply. So they got a lot of places have a truck that comes in every single day.
Just in time delivery.
Just in time, right. And it's sad that they've done that, but they have. It saves them money.
Saves them warehousing.
Right. But now, you know, trucks shut down and the whole country is boom. And really, it'll affect the world if the American truck driver did it.
Have you thought about going out and doing a convoy to another state? Because it seemed like you generate a lot of interest by doing the convoy across the country. You go out to another state, stay one day, and come back and have a place where people come hear the message, because they're not. No,
I know we're not getting out of here, basically.
Right? You know, you're not
Right.
going to get that out.
So everything,
close to a lot of states right now.
like I said earlier, everything is on the table. Everything is on the table. I'm not opposed to that by any means. I'm definitely not opposed to that. I've often thought, and like especially while I was home for a couple of days, I was thinking to myself, like, I've never watched more news in my life than while I was home. You know what I mean? I was just watching to see where it came up, you know, and it does come on. Very little,
Here and there.
very tiny little segments, but it does come on. Even CNN. So it does come on. It's very tiny and no real meat to what we're doing.
Right?
But I've thought about it. I mean, definitely have thought about it. It's crossed my mind to convoy back to California, and this time go across the north and go back. It's definitely on my mind to do that. But you know, I speak honestly. I don't know what the right move is. Whether going to these different states to help generate more support, or to convoy all the way back to California. Or to stay here, I really don't know. That's why I've been leaning more towards staying here and rallying the states.
So I a question real quick. Your message this entire time is make the government work for us, right? We have people
Remind them that they work for us.
Remind them that they work for us, because obviously they're not doing their job. So we don't have to change ourselves in order to conform for the government, right?
Right.
We have people here trying to hijack the show and say, go to your government, fill out this paperwork, and become free from the government, the corporate government. That's not your message that you're trying to get across, right?
That's not my message.
Okay.
No, but I mean, that's an option for people if they choose to. I wouldn't say that they're trying to hijack it. They're putting options on the table for you as a citizen of the United States to take some personal action for yourself.
Okay.
I don't know enough about it to sit there. Your camera's dying. I'm not educated enough into that particular topic to really speak on whether it's legit, real, good, bad. I don't know enough about it.
Well, just because they're going campsite to campsite at night, and they're trying to preach the message, and they're pretty much representing you guys. They're saying we're with the people's convoy. And I knew that was wrong, so I wanted to address it with you, for all the people out there, that your message is basically, we want to remind the government they work for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like 5 messages in people's convoys, but yeah, I mean,
I just want to get it clear for
look,
everybody.
I'm not. None of the organizers of the People's Convoy are going around doing that.
Okay.
That's how I'll clear it up.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that we don't support what they're doing. Doesn't mean that I'm going to discourage them from doing so. It's an option for people that I think it's important that they look into and see if it's for them. If they like it and they want to do it, then you know what, do it. And I've been. Listen, it's the same thing with the streamers, and I said, make your money. You're fine. You know, let them donate to you, make your money. Don't worry about the hate on it. It's the same thing with the businesses that are out there that are selling flags and T-shirts and sweatshirts and everything else. I don't care. It might not be very true to our messaging. Some of those flags of being, you know, it's not a right issue, it's not a left issue, it's an American issue. But I'm not going to stop somebody from supporting their family. I'm not gonna stop somebody from making money. Like, do what you got. Like, yeah, man, bring it down. Listen, you know, I would do the same thing. If there was a stand over here that said "fuck Trump," they can fly their flag. I'm not gonna stop them from doing it. I'm not gonna stop them from selling it. Doesn't mean they're gonna get much business around here. I think we all know that. But it's about freedom, and we live in a capitalist society here, and they are able to do so. If somebody wants to walk around and talk about their message, they're allowed to do so.
Okay.
If you don't hear it come out of my mouth and up on stage or out of Mike or Marcus or any of the other organizers, then it's probably not the People's Convoy.
Okay.
That's how I would clear it up. And it doesn't matter what they're talking about.
Yeah, I want to make sure it was clear because a lot of people are getting up on the mic and they're putting a personal message out, but they're using the platform for the People's Convoy. And it's getting a little confusing, and I'm getting a lot of questions from the chat and everything like, what exactly is the message?
It's pretty clear that if it doesn't come from one of the organizers of the People's Convoy, it's probably not our message.
I just wanted them to hear it from your mouth because I tell them and they're like,
there's stuff going around on Telegram and listen, I'm going to say this while I got all these cameras here. Telegram sucks.
Oh, yeah.
And if you believe anything you see, hear, or read on Telegram, stop it. Stop it. Telegram is horrible. They are literally the worst social media app. I think they're worse than Facebook, not because of censoring, but because that's probably the one app that could use a little bit of it at this point. And I don't believe in censorship. I'm just saying that Telegram is so inundated with fraud and trolls and people that don't even know what they're talking about, trying to pretend that they know what they're talking about.
They clarify that on the chat, on those chats, and on all those things where everybody gets on, I run a live stream on here. This is the steadiest live stream. We have people on here.
Oh, I forgot we got a Telegram live streamer.
Yeah, we do.
To the Telegram fans watching live stream, if it's live, then it's probably true.
Right, exactly.
If it's a bunch of messaging with 80,000 people telling you what's happening, probably not.
By the way, this is Rolling for Freedom, and we are on YouTube, Getter, we're on Rumble, and all of them, but I live stream through here because I'm not monetized on anything.
Nice.
So
Good for you.
Okay.
Yes, finally. Thank you. You got all day or what?
Do I have all day?
Yeah.
No, I think you guys want to go convoy, don't you?
Yes, we are, but really, really
oh,
quick.
no.
Yeah.
I didn't put my makeup on today.
Exclusive. No lipstick.
This ain't exclusive. Look, she says exclusive
everyone else.
while we got all of these people here. It ain't no exclusive.
I like your hat though. It's red like mine.
So up to the question.
So listen, real quick. I like your glow. You're really happy.
I'm refreshed.
I know, right?
I spent
Seeing
some
your
time
family.
with my woman.
Yeah, there you go. So listen, I'm a little bit disappointed because Canada has gotten so much attention, and their donations were just literally flying.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you go to the People's Convoy.org, this is where we can donate.
We're only like 1.7.
Exactly.
But it's not, you know why? Well, I don't know if this is why, but I don't ever get on and ask for donations. I don't ever say go to the peoplesconvoy.org to donate today. I don't do it because I don't believe in it. I don't, let me clarify.
Yeah.
Not that I believe that if you want to help this convoy, bring fuel here. Pay for fuel at the pumps when we go there. Buy a trucker, a car,
Yes.
a camper, gas or diesel, whatever they need. Bring cooked food down here. Bring meat down here. I'm just not a fan of the donation thing. You'll never hear me advocate. I know everybody's been up my butt saying that I need to tell people to go to peoplesconvoy.org and donate today. Everybody's been
Listen,
saying
Canada
it. I
had
just
so
don't.
much media
Look,
going on.
I stay so far away from the money, and there's a reason behind that. But I stay so far away from that money that even when people try to bring me an envelope and say, this is for you or this is for the convoy, I instantly go, hold on to that.
Yeah.
I don't touch it. And the reason behind that is very simple. Every great movement, including even BLM right now, look into it. Every great movement, what has always taken it down? Money. Money has taken down everything. Greed, money, corruption has taken down every great movement, at least in this country, and I'm pretty sure around the world. So yeah, I stay as far away from it. I don't
But there is a
promote it.
website. There is.
And if others choose to get people to do it, then so be it.
Yeah.
You know, I know that
Grateful
money
for
is
that.
important. I get it. I understand that we need it. We definitely need it. There ain't no doubt about it.
One more thing. Can you disclose how much does it cost to fuel to go on the Beltway?
I really
Approximately.
don't. Honestly, I don't have I always speak the truth. I don't have a clue right now today. I don't know what it is. I know that across the country, we had $75,000 fuel bills every time we fueled up.
Oh, okay,
I'll tell you that. It
$75,000.
was $75,000 every time we fueled up coming across the country. I mean, price is up, but our numbers are down too. So I really don't know. It's not the question for me. You'd have to go ask Marcus.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Can I have a
Today
hug?
at 4:00, we're fueling. So go to the pump.
Thank you for speaking with me.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. So
You want to do the same thing?
no,
Come here and hug me.
Your lipstick isn't as bright.
I'll give you a hug. I'll give you a hug.
You give me a hug.
Flannel bros.
Flannel bros. Yeah.
All right. So my question would be, I guess it would be steer a little bit away from politics, but it would be just in regard to this nation, the statement of this nation being one nation under God, in God we trust. What would you say the impact this has had? Maybe just possibly a small personal testimony. I've heard a little bit about an impact you've had of turning towards the Lord, or how much of put a God being in this movement. What would your personal testimony or statement be of this being God's inclusion in this movement, our reliance on Him, and how much the Lord is playing His hand in bringing all these people together from so many different places, using this technology, which we know has been so often attempted to use against us, how it's being used so wonderfully right now with all these streamers and everyone all over the world. We've got people in the chats from countries all over the planet every day, all day, every day. And just this move that is coming across this country. And any words you would have on that, any personal testimony, how your heart has been stirred or moved by this movement, turning towards the Lord, and just anything that would be on your heart in regards to that.
Well, I've had a very complicated relationship with God my entire life, from a child to even up until this movement. I struggled because of things that happened in my life, that happened to family and friends. And it was hard for me to, it was just hard for me to believe at times that He would allow whatever your God may be, higher power, would allow some of these things to happen to people. Lost a friend early on to leukemia when I was a kid. I have another friend that survived leukemia as a kid. Same technology, same everything at that time. It was very, very close to each other. I had family members. I had a grandfather that passed away when I needed him the most. My dad wasn't around. My mom was raising 2 boys by herself. My grandfather was, that male role model that I think young boys, young men need in their life. I lost him early on. I struggled as a young adult. I struggled to find where I fit in and where my place was as far as financially, job, everything. I had a problem with the hypocrisy of the church. I struggled with that a lot, where I would see a man beat his family all week, raging alcoholic, beat his family all week, and then go to church on Sunday and all is well. That bothered me a lot, and it still bothers me. I lost my son in September, and that shook me to my core.
Sorry about that.
Again, it raised questions with my struggle with God. And then went into, I'm all right. Thank you. We started this convoy. And it was like, I don't know. It was like the son was with me from the beginning, and then it just felt like something was with us. And I still feel that way, and more than just my son being with me. I mean, there's a presence here. There's a presence in the movement, and as we went across the country, thank you. As we went across the country, all the prayer and the groups of people from all walks of life that were coming together to the community that we've set up here, my belief in God is pretty firm now.
Yes, sir.
And
Amen.
and I would find it hard for anyone to not believe after experiencing what I at least personally experienced through this journey. There's nobody else there's nothing that can do that. Like only God can do that. And I mean, there's no way that you can't believe in God after experiencing this. I mean, this solidified it. This has changed my life. This has changed my life in that sense. And I think it's changed a lot of people's lives. There's a lot of firm believers here, absolutely. There's a lot here. There's a lot here. But there's some that struggled as well. And there's some that don't believe. But I've watched other people that struggled like I did, and I've even watched the non-believers start believing in God as well. I mean, this has changed a lot of people's lives.
Yes.
A lot of people's lives. And at the end of the day, whether we achieve a single thing in DC or not, we still won. We won hearts and minds. We brought God back into the country, into a lot of people's lives, including my own. We have opened a lot of eyes, and we have created a community that I honestly, a month and a half ago, thought was impossible to have anymore. To me, the only thing that can make that possible is God. I don't think any person can make that happen. I think only God can make that happen. And it's been this experience that made me believe that and feel it. And I think of myself as a free thinker. Like, I'm very open-minded to everything. I try to listen and consider others and their opinions and their beliefs and their, I read a lot. Well, I listen a lot to audiobooks.
Right, there you go.
I drive, so I listen a lot. So I would never judge anyone for not believing, especially as somebody that has struggled myself through my entire life. But I believe, and and I believe I found God in this process to a point that I don't think I would ever waver again. No matter what happens in my life, I don't think I would ever waver again like I did as a young man.
Amen.
Yeah, yes, thank you for that. And hallelujah and glory to God. I would say just in my personal experience, with all the talk of all the politics, just like you touched on just now, the reason we're here, but just all the chatter in the background, what's going to happen, what's going on, are we winning, what's this? And when I'm in this movement, when I'm with these people and I've got people pouring into me and praying over me, and we're praying and we're opening the meetings with prayer every day. And when I'm praying over my brothers and I'm witnessing souls being saved, and I hear the chatter, and I'm like, we are winning. We are winning, and my eyes are witnessing, and my brothers and sisters are testifying of it. And so that's it's a miracle that's being broadcasted to the world right now, and it's a miracle. And I think we just praise God and lift up the name of Jesus for this whole movement is what has been the saving grace that we're all here after how many days and weeks. It's the prayers of people, it's the prayers of the saints covering us, and I would attest all of our victories to that. And I'm thankful for everyone that has came and everyone that has witnessed and testified of everything we're experiencing, and we just lift up our prayers for this convoy, and that's where our faith lies. So
Love you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, Kevin.
Mhm.
Were you aware that 40 years ago, Billy Graham prophesied that there'd be a huge spiritual awakening in America that would start in Canada?
No, was not aware of that.
Okay. And any contribution made here, the one thing people can do all across the world is just say a prayer for the convoy and for the hand of God to cover it.
Who else?
I'm Rusty with the Maryland Salt and Light Brigade. Just wanted to, I had no plans to come back here, but I just wanted to mention something about how God works. Our small organization, Saturday, January 29th, had a small rental here. And our goal is to
Yeah, Christy, I showed it to him, and he said he already heard about that. Thank you.
people in the country pretty much unifies directly with the convoy to end the mandates. And we had serious prayer on January 29th that something special would happen here locally in the community, because it is local. And we went down there at 5:30 on a Friday evening to prepare for our meeting that was the next day, that we had a full house. We had no more parking left in the parking lot. And little did we know that in a matter of weeks away, look what shows up here in Hagerstown, and the impact it's having across the country and waking people up. It just blessed my heart as that convoy came across the United States, and all those people on top of these overpasses, they're still with us. They're good, solid Americans. And the very day that we had our meeting was the day that the trucks rolled in. We didn't know anything about the truck convoy in Canada, but the same day that we had our meeting, the trucks rolled into Ottawa, and things have been rolling ever since. And I mean, just the outpouring of the American spirit, talking with everybody across the country. We got to keep it going. This is a movement that if God is behind this movement, it will be successful. If God is not, it will not be successful. As simple as that.
Thank you.
Think about wrapping up unless there's any last minute questions.
Thank you for your testimony. That's pretty powerful. I'm watching the comments here, and I said since the whole thing here, this was a spiritual ride across the country, and it really has been. So thank you.
I had a comment here, Brian. Spot on, I thought. Adversity makes the man.
Brian?
Yeah.
We have a person in our chat that is running for lieutenant governor in Wisconsin, and his name is Dr. King. Okay, he's not in. He is on. Okay, and if you have anything to say, he's running for lieutenant governor, and he's a really good man, godly. And we picked him up about a week ago when one of my people in the live stream went and videoed him speaking. and we all got on board with him. Do you have anything to say to him on how he can move forward? You know,
Speak the truth and always speak from your heart. And don't forget who you work for.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Spend the day.
Right.
Thank you, guys.
Spend the day talking to
Hey,
Thank you for your time, Brian.
great question, man.
Yeah,
I me too. All right, brother.
Come on down.
Sorry, I was muted. But y'all can see the love. It's God is moving. It's David, I'm so sorry you're hurting. Pray God lifts that pain from you today. In Jesus' name, amen. Y'all have a good day. I'll see you tonight. Love y'all. Thank you for coming by. God bless y'all.